In a small village with cobblestone streets and cozy houses lived Flauschi, a gray tabby cat. She was known for her incredibly soft fur and her boundless laziness. While other cats chased mice, climbed fences, or explored the neighborhood, Flauschi spent her days following a simple routine: eating, grooming, and sleeping. The villagers adored her despite her indolence. "This cat has truly mastered the art of living," they often said. Flauschi was perfectly content with her life, no matter what happened outside. Rain, storms, or village festivals, nothing could disturb her. But one sunny morning, everything changed. When she woke up and trotted to the kitchen, she found her food bowl empty. "How is this possible?" thought Flauschi. Just as she was about to get annoyed, she saw a raccoon through the open window, munching on the last crumbs of her meal. "How rude," Flauschi murmured. But instead of taking action, she laid back down and went back to sleep. The raccoon, who called himself Freddy, found great joy in annoying Flauschi. Every day, he climbed through the window, stealing not only her food, but also toys she never used, but somehow still missed. Freddy wasn't afraid of the cat. "What are you going to do? You're way too lazy," he teased. Flauschi just purred, stretched out comfortably, and ignored him. But one day, Freddy left something behind: a shiny chestnut. When Flauschi saw it, an idea popped into her head. The next morning, she placed the chestnut on the edge of her bowl. When Freddy snuck in again and tried to grab her food, the chestnut rolled off and hit him square on the nose. Freddy yelped in surprise and darted out of the kitchen. Flauschi yawned contentedly. "Sometimes, being clever is all it takes," she thought, and drifted back to sleep. The next morning, a new troublemaker appeared, a colorful sparrow named Pip. He had heard from Freddy about how boring Flauschi was and couldn't believe it, so he decided to test her. Pip perched on Flauschi's head and started singing, loudly and off-key. "Wake up, lazy cat," he chirped cheerfully. Flauschi opened one eye and grumbled, "Leave me alone." But Pip didn't give up. He flitted around her, tugged on her tail, and even threw breadcrumbs at her. But Flauschi remained unfazed. She turned her head and said calmly, "If you have so much energy, why don't you bring me food?" Pip was so surprised that he actually brought her a piece of bread. Flauschi purred contentedly. "That'll do for today," she said, chewing slowly, leaving Pip utterly confused. That night, a small mouse named Maxie sneaked into the kitchen through a hole. She was hungry and looking for food. When she saw Flauschi snoring in front of the fridge, she got bold. "This cat is a joke," Maxie thought, and began gnawing a hole into the fridge. The next morning, Flauschi woke up to the sound of rustling. She opened one eye and saw Maxie dragging a piece of cheese out of the fridge. "Did you make that hole?" Flauschi asked lazily. Maxie froze in fear. Yes," the mouse replied hesitantly. Flauschi yawned. "You can have the cheese, but don't break the fridge again. Otherwise, I might have to move." Maxie nodded enthusiastically and promised to be careful. From then on, the mouse became a regular visitor, and Flauschi enjoyed sharing her leftover cheese, without lifting a paw herself. One afternoon, the garden was filled with noise. 3 neighborhood dogs, a cheeky dachshund, a playful Labrador, and a grumpy German Shepherd, had decided to challenge Flauschi. They ran around her, barking loudly and trying to provoke her. "Come on, lazy cat! Run away!" barked the dachshund. The Labrador tugged on her tail, and the Shepherd tried to nudge her. But Flauschi didn't budge. "You're putting in way too much effort," she finally said with a yawn. The dogs were confused. "This isn't fun," grumbled the Shepherd. "If she doesn't react, it's boring." Eventually, they gave up and ran off. Flauschi watched them leave and thought, maybe I should have hissed, but that's too much work, too. That evening, the kitchen was in chaos. The humans had been cooking soup, and suddenly smoke began to fill the room. The smoke alarm blared loudly, and everyone ran around in panic. Flauschi, lying right in front of the stove, slowly opened her eyes. She saw the smoke and heard the frantic voices. Instead of panicking, she stretched leisurely and pressed her paw against the kitchen door, letting the smoke escape. The humans noticed and quickly put out the danger. "Flauschi, you saved us!" they exclaimed in amazement. The cat purred contentedly. It was nothing, she thought, as she laid back down. As a reward, the humans filled her bowl with especially delicious food. Flauschi enjoyed the feast, groomed herself thoroughly, and curled up on her favorite windowsill. After all, she was the laziest and smartest cat in the world. At the end of the day, Flauschi was back in her element, full, clean, and completely relaxed. She had proven that laziness doesn't mean doing nothing. Sometimes it's about doing the right thing at the right time. The villagers would tell stories for years about the lazy cat who became a hero without lifting a finger. As for Flauschi, she had only one thought: I hope tomorrow's meal is just as delicious.